qualified for Hall of Fame producer, top 25 issue paid producer in the entire company, number one producer in the entire state of Arizona, the Russian Hammer, Mr. Julius Gilgur.
So I got to start by saying I don't know how I got the nickname the Russian Hammer, because I don't know. We'll stick with it though. But let me ask you guys this: how many of you in this room would like to hit Hall of Fame next year and at the same time have a $500,000 a month agency? Let me see a show of hands. How many of you guys would really like to do that? Okay, so let's level the playing field. None of us in here are any different than you. I'm no different than you. I'm no different than you. I'm no different than you. We all have the same shot. We're on the same page? Yeah. Are we on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay. No one is unique, okay? But what's the one thing that everybody that's been on this stage, what's up, Miguel? That has, what do they have in common? Belief.
Yeah.
Belief. Every person that spoke here today so far has said that they believed in themselves. Would you guys agree with that? There is not one person that said, I didn't believe in myself and I just fell into this. So you guys have to start with belief, okay? No one is different. No one has better leads. No one has a much better skill set. We all suck on the phones. We all suck in the home when we start. But it's all about belief and knowing that you can get where you want to go. So if it takes 100% for you to get to that goal, remember this: 1% is about information, 99% of it is about implementation. You can sit here and learn all you want, but if you don't go to work, you don't implement, you don't execute, you'll never get there, okay? So have belief and just know that we're no different, right? You can do it. The next thing I want you guys to think about is setting a goal. So last year, you heard Nina say it, and I think a few others mention it, at our conference, at our convention, there was, 30, 40, 50 people or so that became Hall of Fame producers, red jackets. Last year was my first year at Family First Life for a full year. I didn't hit that. But watching everyone on that stage, I'm like, well, they're no different than me. Why can't I do that, right? Why can't I go out and write Hall of Fame type numbers? Why can't I help that many families? So that's where my belief came in, but also at the convention. And for those of you that are here today, you guys should use this platform to do this for yourselves, is set a goal, right? Hall of Fame is not that big a deal. Like, it sounds like a big deal. It's really not that big a deal. It's $33,000 a month. It's $10,000 a week. I'm giving you the recipe. If you don't know the recipe, you can't bake the cake. I'm giving you the recipe right here. Ready? $33,000 a month. You submit 10K a week, you'll get there. Because you're going to have weeks that are 15 and 20, and then it just works, okay? You book 30 appointments a week, and you just go help families. That's it. It's that simple. 30 appointments a week you schedule, submit 10K a week, you'll issue 33K a month, and you'll hit Hall of Fame. Now, when you set a goal, you guys have to remember that this is about visualization. This is about believing and trusting that the actions you're doing today will pan out for the future. So the other thing you got to keep in mind is what we do. Two things here, guys. And you probably heard Sean Mike say this. We sell and we build. We help people and we build an agency, right? So we hire and we sell some policies. It's not that difficult, right? So if you want to build a $500,000 a month agency, I heard Grady Polson say, well, you got to hire at least 10 people a week. Okay, so that's a goal that you need to start working on if you're not doing that, right? You want to build an agency, but you're not recruiting anybody. How are you going to build an agency, right? So Trey said you got to take 2 people a day from not knowing to knowing. So start there, 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. Then it becomes 4 a day. Then it becomes 5 a day. And guess what? When you start selling at a higher level, you have more cash flow to invest back into your business, right? So then what you do is you can hire staff, right? Now I have a recruiter, right? Why do you want to hire a recruiter? Because you're doing 2 things at once, right? And there's only so much time and energy we each have. but you have someone that helps you filter through people. You have someone that pours in and you compact time. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
So you gotta work the law of numbers, right? So if you work the law of numbers, expose more people to it, right? You expose more people, you're gonna get more people that are interested in what we have to offer. The next thing is being a student, continuously being a student. None of us have arrived. I haven't arrived. I mean, none of us have arrived, right? Like, even the board members, they wanna go to the next level, right? Zach, you happy with where you're at? No, but I want to get to where you're at, right? So I'm listening to you, right? I want to get to where Grady's at, right? Everyone has a goal, right? Find someone that you mimic. So find someone that you resonate with. Find someone that can drive you and inspire you to hit that next level, and do what they do. Talk to them, guys. We're all in the room. You can literally ask Grady, hey, how many people do you recruit a week? What did you do? What do you say, right? You can do that stuff. So you use these platforms to find the people that are doing what you want to do. Just ask them, what are their word tracks? What does their activity look like? Okay? The next one, which I think is probably one of the biggest things, is you are going to need to have structure in your in-home presentation. Well, let me take a step back. You're going to need to have structure on the phone. When it comes to scheduling, when it comes to what you say on the phone, you're going to need to have structure in your home. And you're going to need to have structure when you recruit. Why? Because you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's like if, how many basketball fans do we have in here? We got some basketball fans? We got some basketball fans. If I said football right now, everybody probably raise their hands because no football's in. But if we're talking basketball and you're trying to be a good shooter, you want to continue to shoot, but you want to continue to improve your repetition. And once you find your stroke, are you changing it every time? No, you're doing the exact same thing every single time, right? So if you think about that, how do you do that in your in-home? Your in-home, whether it's final expense, instant internet leads, mortgage protection, I don't care what lead you're sitting with, even if it's a referral, you treat them all the same. What do you do in the beginning? You ask them why. Why did you fill this out? Give them a second to talk, they'll tell you. And then when they tell you why, then you tell them what you're there for. And guys, the simple thing that I do every time, and you guys have probably seen this, is, hey guys, I'm not a salesperson. I'm a local field underwriter, I'm a licensed broker. We all say the same thing, right? I've just said it more than some of you guys. That's all. So it's more fluid for me. Right? So why can't you do that? Why can't you find the word tracks that work for you? Why can't you find the things you need to say to hire the person, right? And it's not anything that isn't duplicatable. So create structure and have control, right? If you have a customer that goes off on a tangent for 30 minutes, how much control do you have in the home? None, right? How are you expecting to sell them some insurance, and not sell, help them with insurance, because that's the right way. We're actually helping people. When you go through the process of your in-home every single time, I don't have to sell anybody. I'm gonna educate them, I'm gonna share what they're eligible for, we're gonna submit an application, and Bob and Mary, we're gonna see if we can get you approved. How many of us can do that? If you guys don't have your hand raised, you might not be in the right room. I don't know, because that's pretty simple. But outside of all that, guys, building and selling, the key to that is just constant activity, right? Because when you start selling and you're in appointments, you're like, well, how do I build an agency while I'm selling? Like, where do I do that? Well, here's what I was doing. I was listening to a lot of music in between appointments. Like, I was jamming out to songs. Like, I would windows down, I'm like, yeah, just made a sale. I'm cruising my next appointment, got a few thousand just deposited. But then I'm like, all right, that's cool, that's now money. But what's the long term? What's the big picture, right? How do I continue to grow something that's gonna last generations and create a legacy, right? Well, I stopped listening to phone calls, or stopped listening to music between appointments. I started feeding my brain, right? First it was podcasts, and then I said, okay, I know enough information now, and now I just gotta feed in other people. So now in between appointments, you just talk to people. People that you know, people that you don't know. Expose more people to Family First Life. You don't have to sell them on it. They'll make the decision. Because guess who we want to work with? The people that want to work with us, right? If you don't want to work with me, why do I want to work with you? Is that complicated?
No.
So what do we have to do? Share this with more people. So we share it with more people, we find more people, now all of a sudden you got an agency, and guess what the people on your team are gonna do? The exact same thing. It's not that deep, you guys. It's really not that deep. So the last thing I'll leave you with is this. To get to Hall of Fame, which we all can get to in here, to get to a $500,000 a month agency, which is really not that big a deal. I mean, it's finding 50 people, that's what my team has. Finding 50 people, it's not that much. But the key differentiator between who has done it and who will do it is two things. Having discipline and being consistent. Because when you're self-employed, it's very easy to make 10 grand in a week and then not go to work on Monday. But we want more, right? I want more. You want more. And so making 10 grand is great, but it's just another day in the office. Just another day in the office. Just keep padding the stats, run up the scoreboard, be consistent, be disciplined, and your future self will thank you. All right, you guys? I hope that helps you guys. I look forward to seeing how many of you guys are red jackets. 500,000 month agencies, anyone can do it. All right, with that said, I'd like to bring up our next speaker. I had the privilege of meeting our next speaker last year in Phoenix. I think he had started with us maybe 30, 60, 90 days ago. I don't even think it was 90 days. I want to say it was like 30, 60 days ago. Before he was at our Phoenix event, he came down with Zach last year. And I just remember how just impressive he was. He was doing a phone training on how to book appointments. I'm like, this dude is a machine, just like a booking machine. And I was already in the business for like 8, 9 months, and I'm taking notes like, dude, I don't even know, but Easton Patton, he's come out the gates smoking hot, Hall of Fame producer. His team's, I believe you're senior vice president?
Just regular vice president,
He's a soon-to-be senior vice president, so give it up for Mr. Easton Patton.